Send a text.
Why start now? And how? Why start now? That's the name of this show. Welcome in. My name is Michael Govier. It's a Cinema Night podcast. You're listening live to a show about film, movies, cinema. Mother, Whistler, all your favorite pals are coming to the show today. We're going to do Sneakers. Does it hold up for this week's episode? Chosen by the one and only Travis Roy. Travis at Royservoir on Twitter. That's ROYSERVOYR for those of you that have spelling issues. Travis, how did you come to this nickname? It seems like you've had it for many decades now.
We're looking at the man who gave it to me, Eric Brandstrom himself. Started calling me Royservoir back in high school because until I developed my own personality, I thought that liking Reservoir Dogs was a personality, and I would just recite it at lunch every day to like whoever would pull my string. I would just they'd say like, "Hey, do a scene," and I'd like just go, and you know that was it. So my last name being Roy, Eric started calling me Royservoir, and here we are.
And it's 2020 on the brink of 2021. What a lovely story to go into the new year. Eric, you got to feel good about that. You know, a nickname that stood the test of time. How do you feel?
I feel fucking fantastic. I'll never forget. We were both like 12 years old. And kids were recommending this horrifically violent goddamn movie. And I'd never heard of it. I'll never forget the first time I saw that one. So hopefully one day we'll be able to talk at length about it.
Yeah.
Really good.
Is it?
It's a class. I mean,
Dogs?
I like it enough to tattoo it on me, so I like it.
Yeah, but we all make mistakes. It's okay. You can backtrack. It's nothing wrong with that if you want to. You can come clean on this show.
I've seen the movie, and I still like it.
Okay. Well, it definitely is Tarantino at his best, which is weird because sometimes you start out great, and then you fall apart, or you get better. Like we talked about Memento a couple weeks ago, how he came out with Memento after the following, of course, but Memento was his big debut, and then he got better. So sometimes people start out hot and they stay hot. Sometimes people develop and grow. There's a lot of different ways to live life. And on the Cinema 9 podcast, we're here to talk about all those different paths. Follow the show, cinema9pod at protonmail.com. Email the show. That's how you can do all these things. We love connecting with you on film. It's so much fun. It's so damn fun to do this show every week. We love talking about this shit. It just never gets old. We've done 36 episodes. That's impressive. Now we're going to do the 37th. And we do want to take some moments here to pay tribute to a great actor, a man that died like right after we finished last week's show. As soon as we got off the air last Thursday, it was like, oh, fuck. Tiny Zeus Lister died at 62 years old. That's fucking horse shit. So, Travis, please indulge us. Give us some Tiny Zeus Lister's fun moments.
Obviously, I think like a lot of people, Friday was a major introduction for me to him. Him as a Debo, what you got him a drink. It's definitely classic, but my go-to role for him has got to be his performance in Dark Knight. I mean, that's just epic. Just that just the way that they used his character. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he did, and that's kind of a smaller role, but he doesn't have a lot of lines, but his delivery is so solid, and he'll be missed. He was a good one.
Ouch. Painful memories here today as Eric Brandstrom sheds a tear. I know you were a big fan. You respected him. No Holds Barred. It's not a great movie, but that was the big introduction to me for Tiny Zeus Lister. How about you, Eric?
In 1989, the preview for No Holds Barred
huge
came in Brighton Cinema,
starring
the great legendary Hulk Hogan himself. And this guy, fucking Tiny Zeus Lister. He had like his cross eyes. It was huge. He looked like a goddamn like mountain that was like fucking pissed. I'd never seen anything like it. I was like, who is this guy? A lot of great role. The Fifth Element, he's fucking fantastic in that. But Travis, you're right. I mean, you could take that role the same way it's written in The Dark Knight and just have it just be this cheesy, dumb thing. Even with this guy who's capable of like humor and going over the top, he underplays it. He just kind of mumbles at the guy, you don't want to do this. It's just so good. And coming from this guy, I got to admit, I'm going to do this live on the show. I'm worried about this admission. I've never seen Friday, so I don't know about this character.
Fucking
dude,
kidding
yeah,
I cannot tell you how many times in my life I have sat through Friday, especially the first 45, 50 minutes. Probably about twice as much as the rest of the movie, to be honest. But man, I'm surprised. That movie's classic in my book.
I guess you didn't come over to. Maybe
didn't
Friday
come over.
wasn't playing at Jimmy's, but Friday was playing with like me and Harvey and Coomer and all. We used to watch Friday all the time on VHS. All of us. That was
Post high school, there was a lot of hanging out at Jimmy's watching stuff. But during high school, we hung out at my house a lot, as you may recall. And Eric
True.
was not leaving his neighborhood at that time, so maybe I guess you missed Friday in part for that reason.
Yeah, I could see that yellow VHS box right now. Friday, that was huge, and I can remember how disappointed I was in the sequel. I was excited about it, but it was not funny. I'm sorry.
No, it's no good.
But they made like 3 at least. I think there's a 4th, maybe. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, Friday. That's a stunning admission, Eric Brescia. That's got to be one of the more stunning admissions I've heard on the show, to be honest with you. Just because it's so, it is. It's so.
I don't know why it's called Friday. All I remember is like they're sitting on the chairs and they go, "Damn!" That's it. Literally, that's it.
It takes place on Friday.
Oh, I thought maybe that was the name of Tiny Goose Lister's character.
No, that's a Debo.
Not to spoil it. It's like one of those like day in the life movies.
Yeah,
it's Friday. I believe F. Gary Gray, the director. Great director.
That's where he broke through.
Just nothing but quotes. Like one of the most quotable movies I can think of. I mean,
it made Chris Tucker everything. Rush Hour never would have happened without Friday.
Is that the one where the guys like got like the air fresheners on the toilet? He's like spraying all over the place.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it out and report back to you next week.
Doctor says I need a backiotomy. Nothing.
Just damn.
That's half baked, dude. That's half baked. Sorry.
Doctor says I need a backiotomy. That's half baked. Oh shit! I thought it was on the floor. I thought it was on the floor. I want 150,000.
Yeah, he's like, oh my back. That's what he's. I think that's.
I got him mixed up. All right.
You're thinking of
losing all my
a lot.
Losing all my '90s comedy cred here. All my stoner comedy cred.
There's a lot of weed in both those movies, so it actually makes sense. So.
Yeah, I've been pretty stoned while watching both of those films. I can't.
Yeah, I may have done that once.
I have seen How High, and I remember laughing.
Yes, I've also smoked weed and watched that movie too.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Another stoner film. Yeah, we should do like a stoner film rundown. That'd be fun. In fact, eventually, sooner or later, I don't know if it'll be me or Travis, but a stoner film will be put on this pod for Does It Hold Up?
And it won't be Dazed and Confused.
No, it won't. No, it will not.
Simply won't.
You're right. No, it'll be something more. Might be one of those. Actually, Friday and Half Baked are two great choices.
The Stone Age. It'll be the Stone Age.
Oh, the Stone Age. The guy with the red hair. God damn it.
That big glowing skull. All right. Anyways, what other events were we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Tommy Cruise.
Tommy Cruise?
Tom
is a fucking legend. Suddenly, I like Tom Cruise again. I gotta say, I'm pro this rant. I don't like the comparisons. I know why people are comparing it to Christian Bale's rant because it's like a audio piece and some guy's going ape shit. But the context and what he's saying, they're two completely different messages.
My issue with the Christian Bale rant is if some actor is yelling at me on the set, I'm going to tell him to fuck off. Tom Cruise is a producer. He's in charge of this crew and the safety of, like he says, thousands of people's well-being. Christian Bale is just a fucking actor. Tell him to shut up.
Who cares? I see what you're saying, though.
But you see, I mean, he's in charge. So, you know, is it the best bedside manner? No, but who knows how many times he reminded them about that before. We don't know nothing. It's the fucking sun.
It seems like a pretty earnest, like, tirade.
Yeah. I like to remind people also that the person that Christian Bale was yelling at wasn't some intern. It was the director of photography. It was the fucking DP man. Like, I mean, like he deserved to be yelled at for being in an actor's eye line. Like he deserved it. Sorry.
Okay.
And Tom Cruise. I mean, like when he's like, this is what I sleep with it every night, thinking about how we are single-handedly keeping the industry alive. Like, I'm like, I don't know that you're doing all that, like in the heat of the moment.
I believe he believes it.
but he's not wrong at the same time. I mean, like he's talking about food on the table. He's talking about paying rent that month right here, right now. Like he might be a millionaire, billionaire, but he's looking out. Like he's clearly thinking about more than just the two guys he's yelling at. And when he starts talking about like, hey, if I see this again, like you're both going to be fired. Like that's a little extreme, but like, again, like Eric said, we don't know. Like, I mean, again, these guys were all they were doing was standing within like they were within a couple feet of each other. They were less than a meter apart. But presumably, I think it's safe to say people don't just explode like that out of nowhere. There's probably been some buildup where it's been like, Jerry, we've talked about this, and then it's like, Jerry.
That's Jerry.
That fucking ain't right, man. For all the people who are at work, yes, I admit I'm one of those people, and you just see people who aren't wearing masks and they're putting yourself in jeopardy. I side with this I want to be Tom Cruise. I've never said that in my life. Well, maybe I did before I knew he was a raging Scientologist when I was a teenager or a kid. But lately, I have not want to have been Tom Cruise. However, I support this. And the fact that he said he were fighting for the future of this business, I actually don't think that's a lot of hyperbole.
It's not.
That's what I'm saying.
There's not a lot of major high-profile films filming right now because of what's going on. They're taking a chance against all odds to make it happen. And he's right. He says all eyes are on this production.
Right.
So
I just mean that movies aren't going to stop entirely if this doesn't do well. But no, you're right. I mean, like there's a lot riding on this. This is a major tentpole in a time where we're going to need this kind of stuff just for a sense of normalcy. And as he said, for jobs, these jabs. It's all about jabs.
Of course, it's all about jabs. J-O-B. You know what? Oh, Friday reference. You know what?
I don't.
Yeah, that's a Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I support it. I mean, yeah, he's looking out for the well-being of all these people, and yet we can't deny the fact that he is the poster child for one of the, most gigantic Leviathan, quote unquote, religions that is just hurting so many people all over the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
okay, no, I'm with you, but it's still a separate issue. I mean, we could discuss that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying he's definitely no saint, even though I fucking love Tom Cruise. He could murder somebody, I would still watch all his movies. But
we should probably do like one of his movies on this show or something, huh?
You think so?
That's a good one.
Like, if you look at our backlog,
in a row, like there's nonstop
a lot of Cruise
for like a month straight. It seemed like.
Yeah,
July, so
it's been like a good 5 or 6 episodes, I think, since Interview with the Vampire. I think was the last time.
Oh yeah,
that's like 8 episodes.
Boy.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I'm glad I got to watch that again. All right, so yeah, Tom Cruise. Hey, some people, are you for it or against it? Tell us. Give us your opinion. Sim9pod at protonmail.com, or you can DM the show on Furious. We have a Facebook page too. We try to push that a little bit more these days. The Facebook page is an interactive area where people can post things, and we can kind of, connect and interact with you. And like this, when Derek Fern says, you know what? Vanilla Sky is amazing. This is a loaded comment by Derek, and we should probably just skip it and move on with the show.
Just delete it. Vanilla Sky is trash.
You should, Derek, if you feel that way, you should go back to the Vanilla Sky episode, which was a long, long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, I can still remember when Luke wouldn't shut the hell up.
Oh no, bud, no.
There's
By the way, I
laughing.
didn't really learn what a levee was till I was like 25. It took me a long time to learn what a levee was, but I figured it out eventually. Anyways, yes, Vanilla Sky. We have all our archived episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of the podcast platforms that you use. You are welcome to go back and listen to Dick Tracy. Boy, we even did like Magnolia way back in the day, right?
Margot at the wedding.
That's a good one. That's an interesting episode.
The game.
The game? Yeah, we did the game, but did it hold up?
Good.
Some of these
No, it
surprised me. Like last week's Memento, which was kind of a shocking conclusion, and Derek Fern himself was kind of personally insulted by the fact that we all rejected the movie. We still love him, but yeah, you never know what's going to happen on this show. Also, John LeCaire passed away. That's not his real name, right?
LeCaire.
Yeah, I go.
Is that pseudonym?
I like go LeCaire.
I do it wrong.
Hey, LeCaire. Anyways, I remember the first book I ever read of his was when I went to college. That was fun. And it wasn't one of his movie ones. It was one of the smaller time ones that never made it into a film. Anywho, that's not his real name, but he lived to be like really, really old. And he had a lot of movies that were turned into like great stories on film and in paper. So if you ever get a chance, you never got to, see any of his films or read any of his books, I would recommend them. Do you agree with that, Travis? Or would you interested or are you mild?
Oh, I like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy quite a bit.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, that was really good, actually. I like that a lot. What about you, Eric?
I thought he died like 50 years ago.
Ouch! Painful. By the way.
Wasn't he?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
No, please.
What was he like did I read this right? Was he like involved in an organization himself, or has he always just been an author?
No, he was. He had a previous little life going on. There's a lot of mystery about what's real and what's not. Yeah, it's complicated. But he spent the last many decades just writing. But he did have some little bit of background in certain areas of the spy game or what undercover world, if you will. But
we'll be talking spies this evening. But yeah, he's a heavy hit. Most Wanted Man, I think, was him, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was so good.
Good call. By the way, we have our next guest coming on January 7th. Brian Madison may be choosing a film that was written by John Le Carre.
Oh, shit. Wow, really?
Nothing's in stone, but there is one in play. So January 7th, Brian Madison, special guest after the new year. Stay tuned. And next week, we'll be recording. It looks like I do have to work on Wednesday, so we can talk about this later, but I think we'll probably be recording on Christmas Eve. It's some fashion, and we'll figure it out. But we will be on the air. We're always here to serve you 52 weeks a year. We're fucking incredible. I'm so excited. All right. Any other news tidbits? Anything? What about one thing. I don't want to go hours on this, but one thing that you heard, because that same dump, the fucking Disney dump came out that night after we finished the show. Now, we don't have to cover it all, but is there one thing, Travis? I know you love Marvel, and we all love Star Wars and Marvel here generally. I don't know if Eric loves Marvel, actually, but is there something that really stood out to you with the Disney dump last Thursday?
It's not going to happen for a couple of years, but there's going to be a Disney Plus Moana movie and or a TV show about a Moana series. Like it'll be like high quality stuff. Hopefully Lin-Manuel gets back involved. I'm really excited about that in particular. There was nothing else announced that I wasn't already aware of, or that there hadn't been some serious rumors about. I don't think really, but I mean it's all good news. John Watt doing Fantastic Four. Also, I'm excited about that. But that's like years away.
I mean, there was just a ton. For me, the standout was Patty Jenkins' helmed Rogue Squadron movie. I think having a Star Wars film about pilots could be a lot of fun if done the right way. And she's a great director. Yeah. I love Wonder Woman. So, yeah, I'm probably mostly excited about that. I'm not excited about any of the Star Wars shows. But Marvel's Secret Wars, if they're doing that, that's going to be fucking insane.
Yeah, that was news to me. I'll take that back. That was news to me, and that is pretty exciting.
I could bring it back into Marvel.
Mendelsohn and Jackson teamed up for a TV show. That's gonna be cool as shit.
Ooh, okay, yeah. I mean, there was so much shit that happened, and for me, I didn't know this previously, but it seems like the Willow thing is actually closer to reality. So I'm excited about the Willow TV show, or is it another film?
It's a TV show, and I'm pretty excited about it too. I think it might be better than the original, like given that, you know what I mean? Like there's a great world that exists there that the movie's good, but it could be a lot better. And I think that like an older, wiser Willow, it could be really cool. I'm excited too.
Yeah. Warwick Davis is coming back. He'll be in the movie.
Kaya, the baby.
We stole the baby. Yeah.
I'm taking a baby.
Kevin Pollak returning as the brownie.
Come back as a brownie. He'll look a lot better as a CGI brownie in 2020 or 2022. But there will be no Billy Barty unless they pull a reenact.
What about Val? We getting Val back?
We get Val out of Traction to play Matt Mardigan.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of sad.
Never mind that he looks like the he looks like the dude that got spilled acid on him in RoboCop. These days,
that's dark. That's dark. Bad. I like it, but it is dark, and that's kind of
true.
So but not as necessarily. Anyways, I would love to see all that shit. Disney dump. There's so much cool things. She-Hulk's going to be, there's a lot of cool shit that I've never even seen. I would love to see in reality. So we'll talk more about that another time. If we ever do a Marvel movie, maybe we'll dive into some of the future Marvel releases or a Star Wars movie. Will we ever do a Star Wars movie on the show? I mean, I'm
sure we probably will. I mean, there's not going to be much question as to what kind, if it's popular or not. But I mean, I think it's, we obviously do some movies that are, everyone knows they're going to hold up.
It's happened.
But we are talking new. We could be talking new Star Wars, or even Attack of the Clones or something.
Oh, a Waititi Star Wars? Isn't it going to be a film, right? That's something I'm excited about.
That's new news. Taika Waititi going to have his own movie. Not a surprise, but exciting.
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So let's talk quarantine viewing picks. It's that time. We are in a pandemic. Trust me. I go to work every day and we're always reminded of COVID. So you should stay indoors if you don't have to go to work, or if you've lost your job. I empathize with you, and I really hope that people are supporting you. I wish I could support you financially, but I can't support everyone, but I do. My heart is with you. Anyways, Travis, I know you've been watching some films. So what do you got?
I watched a lot. I'm going to try and rattle this off. I watched Friday.
Yeah.
I watched Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Still keeping it going.
Still keeping it going. Part 5, I wasn't that into that one. A little overly dramatic. Part 6, they brought in they went the other route and got comedic, and it works.
Wait, what's Part 6 subtitle?
Jason Lives.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, doesn't he die in the 5th one supposedly for real or something?
He's not actually in the 5th one. He's like really dead in the 5th one. He just comes back in like flashbacks and like stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched Happiest Season, the Hulu film. Clea Duvall wrote and directed, based in part on her life. Very I got emotional a few times. Like, it started off like there's a moment where it's like, oh great, they got a lesbian literally in a closet and she's trapped. Like, fuck, where's this? This is not great. And then I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be great. And then it kept going, and like it turned out to be a really good movie. I'd strongly recommend it. Good holiday movie. Speaking of holiday movies, I also checked in with my yearly check-in with Love Actually to see if I could get through the fixing the bed scene, the whole what's her name,
Joni Mitchell?
Joni Mitchell scene, and cried harder than usual this year. So we'll check in again next year and see how that one goes.
It's a good barometer of like where you're at emotionally. It really is.
Right, like, are you a complete wreck? Well, yeah, okay, maybe having some stuff going on. I don't know. Such a great movie. Got its issues, but I enjoyed.
I love Richard Curtis.
I enjoyed this viewing very much, and actually I found myself for the first time kind of defending Andrew Lincoln a little tiny bit at the end. Only when what he does is wrong, absolutely. But like, she catches him, like she figures out like all those images of him like watching her like in the wedding dress and stuff. Like clearly she knows he's in love with her. So like he could have just been like, oh, I'm gonna be awkward as fuck around you for the rest of our lives, and he didn't do that. Instead, he came to her and told her like how he actually felt, which like he without agenda or et cetera. And then when it's over, which she makes a choice to kiss him, not the other way around. She chases him down and kisses him. He didn't ask for that. And then after that, he says enough, a little melodramatically, but still. So I felt a little better about him. I watched 21 Bridges. Damn shame. Once again about the loss of Chadwick Boseman. He was really setting himself up to be quite the action star. I mean, it was a good movie.
When did that come out?
2019.
Oh, okay. I got to see that one.
Yeah, it's on Showtime right now. Definitely worth checking out.
Oh, hey, you know what? I think I might have access to Showtime.
I think you might. And because of anyways, I don't know what I want to say on the air, but your guys' suggestion, I watched Omit the Logic, the documentary about Richard Pryor, who inexplicably I called Leonard Pryor last week, but I guess because of Leonard Shelby, the character from Memento. Anyways, I watched Omit the Logic, which was so good. Lots of JoJo Dancer stuff in there, which I expected, but it was really fantastic documentary. I watched a Finnish Christmas horror movie called Rare Exports from 2010. I had heard about this movie for a long time. I've been meaning to see it for a long time, so my expectations may have been up a little bit because it's got pretty good reviews, but I just want to tell you, like, if you're going to watch this movie, I don't mean to give a big spoiler, but just be prepared for, like, think of an old man with the physique of Santa Claus and imagine a whole, literally hundreds of him butt-ass naked. You see a lot of old man dick. This is like a lemon party.
Like on the YMCA.
Movie. Yeah, this movie is like there's just a whole bunch of old man penises hanging out. So be prepared for that. But other than that, pretty decent film. And then last but not least, I'm not quite done, but I watched a movie called Son of a Gun from 2014 last night with Brendan Thwaites and blanking on his name. He played Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's his name? I'm blanking
Ewan
on
McGregor.
Yeah, thank you. Ewan McGregor playing like a hardened criminal type. And it was like this cookie cutter fucking crime movie through the whole thing. I'm like, this is trash. And then at the very end, at the very end, it like pulled itself together and like actually was like, damn, like, okay, I think I actually was like 2 hours long, and I'm like waiting for it to be over. Then at the very end, it kind of like came together. So I'm not recommending it, but if anybody else has watched it, I'm curious to get your thoughts. Finally, my 2 actual recommendations for this week, and then I'll be done. I watched season 2 of Dead to Me. Finally, I have not been watching many shows, but Dead to Me is just so good. I love Linda Cardellini. I love Christina Applegate, and James Marsden is just a fucking national treasure, in my opinion. So this show really is fantastic. And last but not least, Sufjan Stevens released a new album at the end of September, and I have become completely obsessed with it. If like me, you have checked out on Sufjan for the last 10 years or more because he was just kind of getting repetitive and not so interesting, this is the best stuff he's done since Age of Odds, and maybe even better than that. It's really fantastic. The Ascension. Check that album out.
Yeah, that's like all you. I tried to get into him and it just never took for me. But that's good to know if you're a Sufjan Stevens fan. I know he has songs about like Illinois and Michigan and shit. That's fun.
Yeah, 20, 15 years ago. But yeah, but I mean, this is more electronic in the realm of Age of Odds.
Sell out. All right, cool.
He's done that since the beginning of his career.
I know. I'm fucking around. Let's have some fun.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
So, no joke.
I will take no abuse against Sufjan.
You also recommended that Jimmy World album from 2019, I think it was, or at least a song that you really like.
Yeah, the song 555 in particular. Yeah.
All right. I listened to that album a couple weeks ago. I thought of you. I was like, oh, I'm driving to work for an hour. I'll put on this album, and it was all right.
Yeah, the album itself it's got some high points and some low points. Mostly, I'm all about that song. 555.
Okay. Eric, looks like you're pounding on it. You look like 2004 Feast Pick. That picture I have of you, you got that bone in your mouth and your hair's all like Frankensteined out. All right, so that's what I'm thinking of as you chow down. What do you got? What is a movie that you're going to recommend that's going to blow people's socks off? It's the holiday season. There's a lot of pressure here, Eric. People are going to be home more than ever, sitting on couches, watching movies.
I don't want to let them down or anything, but I watched a ton of movies. They all sucked. I watched Peppermint with Jennifer Garner, who I love. I love Jennifer Garner. I'll watch her do the dishes.
So overrated.
But it's not good.
Overrated she is, by the way.
Oh, no, she's beautiful. But this movie's fucking trash. I watched Courage Under Fire.
Oh, Meg Ryan, Denzel Washington?
Meg Ryan, Denzel Washington, Lou Diamond Phillips,
Oh.
Matt Damon. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. What can I say? But I watched it. I watched I watched The Fisher King. So I'll save my thoughts on that because it sounds like it could be coming up. I was surprised about this recent viewing. I was definitely surprised about this most recent viewing. I'll say that. So I will watch it again, though, if it gets selected. I won't rely on this past weekend's experience.
By the way, I'd never seen that till 2 years ago. It was the first time I finally watched it. Really? I've seen it, but that was the first time.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I watched The Polar Express, and I didn't like this when it came out, and then I gave it another shot like a couple years later. But I watched it today, and I showed it to my students. It's good. Like, it's really padded. Like it could be easily like a half hour long, but I was getting into it for sure.
Half hour?
Yeah, it could easily be like a half hour long. There's like a 25-minute long like conversation between like the conductor and like the boy, like before he goes back into his house. It just takes forever. What else did I watch? I watched Eye of the Beholder. It's fucking so it's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen with Ewan McGregor and Ashley Judd. Makes no sense.
Oh my
it's so
God.
bad.
You watched that? Why? It's so old. Why would you like at this point?
I love Ashley Judd. I could watch her cook spaghetti for hours.
Yeah,
but this movie was fucking terrible.
I'm gonna blame you in my.
I really do.
I'm gonna blame you in my picks, by the way, Eric, for that Ashley Judd revelation because I ended up watching a movie related to that bummed me out. But anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry, Travis.
Other than that, I watched a ton of Unsolved Mysteries, the original series with Robert Stack. I can't turn it off. It's ridiculous. This is the only like true crime series where like the actual people play themselves in the reenactments, and you've got like a grieving father in one segment, like crying over the death of his son while he's like being interviewed by the cops, and it's like it's like the actual guy whose son got murdered, and I'm picturing like the director being like, "Fuck, cut." We didn't really get the performance we wanted on this one, so I thought that was probably really awkward, but it's a really fun show. And like I used to watch this when I was like 9, and it fucks with you because one segment is like these like long lost loves where it's all heartwarming, and then the next segment is a horrible murder that's never solved. There's no update, so you don't have the satisfaction update. It's just an unsolved murder. And I was like 9 watching this. Like it must have really fucked up with my psyche. But
is this the new show you're talking about, by the way? Not the old.
No, this is the old one from like 1988. That was when the first season hit.
Do you have an answer for this? Derek wants to know where you can watch the originals.
So it's on Amazon Prime.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, all the old Robert Stack episodes. Other than that, I've just been watching a lot of old Dick Cavett show episodes. And God, that guy fucking interviewed some real legends. Betty Davis, Sir Laurence Olivier. Watching all those Miles Davis.
Wait, did
videos.
you rent that movie or no?
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do
couldn't.
it. I just wanted to watch more of the real person and not sit through some fucking biopic. But that guy was insane.
Biopic.
But yeah, that's it, my friends. No strong recommendations. I am really enjoying season 2 of The Mandalorian. I'm really, really enjoying it. They turned it around.
All right,
But
great.
That's all I'll say.
I'm saving that for a holiday, like next 2 weeks. I got to watch
Good.
it all. So
That's good.
very excited to watch it. Very excited.
Stay off of all social
I
media.
have. I'm successful so far. That's why I'm continuing.
You're gonna have
I'm
to.
doing a great job. So, and by the way, Travis, in response to that, it seems like people, at least on Twitter, they're becoming more like, you know what, we're just not spoiling because we never know when people are watching things anymore. I feel like people are getting better at that, at least in my world. So
I have not seen that with. I mean, there's a couple shows in particular people just don't seem to give a shit. Like Game of Thrones when it was on, like everyone's just like, I'm going to go on and tell you everything that just happened.
Okay.
And Mandalorian, in my experience, it's the same way. Like I'm literally trying to watch it Friday or Saturday morning just because I'm a Twitter user and like I don't want to have it ruined for me. But
I guess I'm avoiding your realms. I'm lucking out. So there are scary realms on Twitter where I could be spoiled. Good to know.
I follow actually more than a couple of Star Wars accounts, so that might have something to do with it.
I'm shocked. All right. Well, I got to tell you, man, I have just been ever since, I don't know what happened. I don't know. It was like 6 weeks ago. I started really just recommitting to movies. And every week I am just watching good chunks of movies whenever I have free time. And this week is no exception. And I've been keeping the list just like Travis taught me. It's really helped me stay focused on the show and give you guys proper pieces of information. So I forgot to mention that I don't think I mentioned this. Did I mention I watched Knives Out last week? Because I don't think I did. So I watched Knives Out, and that was last week. And there was a lot of hubbub about it. I think it's like really highly rated too. Rian Johnson film, massive cast.
Yeah, people love it.
Did you guys anybody comments on this?
So I saw it opening day.
Oh,
and it was one of those ones where I'm like, I walked out being like, make sequels. I could have a bunch of Daniel Craig can just do this over and over again. I'd be very happy with that. So I was really happy with it. It was like the opposite of the Rian Johnson movie that I had seen in theaters before that, where I walked out thinking, hey, everyone's going to love this just like me. Instead, I was like, hey, everyone's going to love this. And then everyone really loved it, kind of like more than I thought they would. And I kind of was like, okay, calm down about the sweater. You're kind of overhyping it for people. Like, calm down. It's a good movie, but I think it's getting a little overhyped. It's a great sweater.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Hey, hi, Dan Plummer. I'm saying hi to Dan Plummer myself because I like to say hi. Dan is such a nice guy.
Sweet gentleman.
Chad Gibbons loves Knives Out, by the way. He loves it with a capital LOVED. Loved it. So,
I mean, it's got some really. I mean, Christopher Plummer, one of my favorite performances from him.
Still going. Yeah. It's amazing. What is he? 88, 90 years old?
He just turned 91. And if you followed us on Instagram, you'd actually know that.
Ouch. Oh wait, I don't know. You were just telling me. I follow you guys on Instagram. I do. I think I do. I follow the show. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
You're telling the people that. I realized. I thought you were digging.
I'm literally telling you because I just posted about it like 2 days ago.
Oh.
Did you like?
I admit it.
A lot of people have an issue with like that, like half-hour like summation that Daniel Craig does, but like that's a classic whodunit. Every Agatha Christie, that's always done in a classic mystery. So I had no issue with that.
All three of us have seen it, right?
Yeah, I love it.
So I don't have a problem with that. I had a problem with that like period where like she's driving around in the car with him after the coroner's place gets set on fire. It kind of like drags there. It's like, wait a minute, come on, he's not a moron. I know it's nice to see like a guy who doesn't know everything immediately in the moment, but like.
So the reason for that, in my opinion, is that one of the most important characters of this movie is the house. And to get them out of the house, it kind of like the movie starts to fall apart a little bit once you start getting them out of the house.
Interesting. That's a great call, Travis. Okay. Yeah. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, that was like, okay, wait. Some of it was a bit of a stretch at times, but up until a certain point, I was completely locked in. So, anyways, and then I was still clueless until the end. I really didn't know. It was cool. But what I should have realized is that Chris Evans had played Captain America, one of the most noble, righteous dudes of all time.
We saw it, but
we can at least say spoiler alert first.
Fucking spoilers. Anyways, I'll stop there. That's fine. I didn't give away anything
I
technically.
see where you're going, and I like it.
Okay. I saw The Good Liar. This was part
What'd you
one.
think?
The Bill Condon picture.
This is part one of a
Condon Fest?
a Condon Fest unplanned.
What did you think of The Good Liar? What, did you like it?
I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't like, wow, finally, Mirren and on the film.
Could have and should have been.
Yeah, it was a huge deal to have them, but it wasn't like, wow, this is going to be legendary. It was just like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't legendary.
Yeah, it's crap.
Not my favorite Condon
crap.
by any means.
It's kind of crappy. Maybe it is crappy, but I don't know. I kind of like first time view.
I only watched it once, but I just found it like amazingly predictable. And I'm really bad at predicting movies. I go out of my way to not predict movies. I'm just like, is this supposed to be like a surprise? Because I felt like you were building up to this throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, like it's called The Good Liar, and he's like right from the start, he's duality, so that's obvious.
Turns out he's lying.
Oh, fuck. Now, yeah, where it goes, maybe that was a little surprising,
Whatever.
but yeah.
What's the other Condon flick?
I gotta think about that for a while. Anyways, that was the first movie I watched of the week, the Condon Fest that began, and then I ended up doing a twofer on the back end of all these, which ended up completing the Condon trilogy without even realizing it. I had no idea. It's so funny to me. I really did. I watched Bob Roberts and
shit! What the
and
fuck?
Kinsey back to back, and I had no idea.
Kinsey's good.
Kinsey's great. I've seen Kinsey before, and I wanted to re-recommend it to people. The fact that we'd never heard of Kinsey in the sex ed, it should have been like a universal thing in high school or middle school. Like his work.
And I heard about it as soon as I was a freshman in college, but like I don't know about in high school. They'd be like, well, when he was watching his wife get plowed, he was really learning some really important stuff.
Well, not that part. But just the basic work they were doing about like exploring sexuality. Like they were doing things.
Right. No, the first book about women and what was it, like the female orgasm and the male orgasm, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the first one's supposedly about men, and then the second one's about women and orgasm. And
they can handle the male one first, but like the female one, like
maybe not like the marriage interrelation stuff, just like the basics. He does a really good job of being honest about what people are going through, how people
I do think you're right that we should have learned more at the high school level about the female orgasm.
I agree, and I learned more in that movie sometimes. I realized after the fact when I watched it again, I was like, oh, well, yeah, wow. This guy's like being honest in this film, truthfully about, intercourse does nothing for women. Not to go over a sex ed course here, but like the fact that he was really the one to like really push that and try to get that out there more. The clitoris is filled with nerves, yada, yada, yada. And I think it was amazing that this film got made, first off, because Hollywood is always prude regardless what year it is.
Wasn't it made for HBO?
I didn't see that in the title.
I thought it was a made for cable movie, but maybe I'm wrong.
We could double check that, but
you keep talking. I'll double check.
You were saying the nerves in the clitoris.
Oh yeah, go back to the nerves.
Yes. Anyways, Kinsey's great though. Like Liam Neeson does a great job. John Lithgow is his father. It's a great. Where this movie comes from is so where this country came from. It does a good job of representing this Puritan 1800s era. People came out of that, like the facts that things that happened to Lithgow's character are horrific, and these kind of things really happen. And people were shamed into submission, into becoming preachers of the anti-sexual world. It's just, I thought a lot of truth in it. I really did. I thought it's just a good film.
Things Mr. Barnes didn't teach us in 9th grade health.
Oh boy, here we go. Here come the Farner jokes and So, and then, like I said, I'd never seen Bob Roberts, and that movie was fucking bizarre. It's so bizarre, but I liked it. And it's even more prescient. It's another film that's so prescient. Everything that's happening. That's 1992, and everything they're talking about there is where we are now. It's fucking genius now. It just looks more impressive, in my opinion. That was my thoughts on it. I'd love to recommend Bob Roberts to the extreme. It's not what you think it is. I dove in.
Bullworth?
Yes, definitely better than Bullworth. Thank you, Eric. All right, so yeah, there you go. I watched Bad Education. Hadn't seen that. I'd like to recommend that with Hugh Jackman and Allison Janney.
Oh yeah, I was interested in that.
Ray Romano. So, that's no, you didn't. I remember you saw it. And
I just
another
I'm glad
day
you liked it. I'm glad you enjoyed
another day
it.
in the life of human beings.
I just found it kind of dull.
It was, I don't know. I like that kind of shit. It's about white collar. I don't know. You call it. I like people who are corrupt and like they're trying to cover up and shit like that. So
I like
a true story.
I liked the performance by Jackman. I liked the role choice for Jackman quite a bit. And Janny, of course, always fucking kills it because she's one of the like better actors out there. But just the story itself just didn't compel me. I don't know.
It's a bummer. I'll say that. It's a bummer of a story. All right. I finally saw The King of Staten Island. Never saw that one. And I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like as good as I was hoping for. I was really expecting a lot from Apatow because he knows how to transition all types of different comedians and bring out the best in them. And I didn't think the payoff wasn't that great in this film for me, to be honest.
People need to calm the fuck down about Pete Davidson. I understand they must really like him as a person or as a comedian, but like as an actor, they need to calm down because this is the only thing I've seen from him, and I couldn't be less impressed. I mean,
Bill Burr was amazing.
Bill Burr was fantastic, but that's the thing. Everybody else in the movie just glowed in comparison. Like he made everybody else look really, really good, and like he was just. I mean, I just did not understand the hoopla, and I still don't.
I like the intention. I like the honesty, the genuine nature of the film. But you're right. In terms of his ability, it's just not there. Not buying it. So.
Bill Burr made the movie.
He did. His mustache is legendary, and yes, and even Steve Buscemi. It's nice to see Steve Buscemi like a serious kind of role. It's a joking role, but it's serious. He was
Marissa
great.
Tomei, also like the supporting cast, and the woman the young woman that played his girlfriend. I don't know her name, but she.
Oh, I love her. Oh God, I love her. I looked her up, Abel something. She's British. She's great. She's in the morning show that I told you guys about. She plays one of the characters in that where I first saw her. She's a beautiful and very talented woman. Abel something.
She pulled out a great performance in this movie, and then it's just basically like you're watching like all these experts just like around this bumbling amateur. It's just.
You mentioned John Witherspoon. All right, I'll wrap this up. You mentioned John Witherspoon. I watched I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. I never saw I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. And there was John Witherspoon hamming it up just like John Witherspoon does. And
I'm Gonna Get You,
great.
Sucker.
I'd never seen it. I skipped right into like In Living Color and then Don't Be a Menace and stuff like that. But I never saw it. I remember it.
Get You, Sucker.
It's great. It's classic. Like
whatever happened to Keenan Ivory Wayans?
I know.
Funny.
He did Scary. I think he made a lot of money. He probably just chilled out because Scary Movie made a shitload of money that he did in 2000 and so on. So, and that franchise, I don't know if he held the rights to it or what, but anyways, yeah. So that was fun. It was fun, and I saw a movie that no one had really told me about from our generation that I thought was pretty damn good, really good. Perks of Being a Wallflower. Anybody seen this one?
I read the book, but I never saw the movie.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, okay, I just gotta sit here and settle in. It's like. Andrew's choice, and I was like, "Oh, all right, I'll pick next." I really liked it. It was tender. It reminded me of old John Hughes movies, but contemporary in like a really good, cozy way. And it wasn't just a bunch of fucking kids bickering. It wasn't like eye rolling or anything like that. It's just sweet, tender, real.
Yes.
But you brought it up.
Yes, I agree completely. Ezra Miller was a revelation in that movie. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is why
really
people like
didn't choke out a woman in Norway because he was onto something.
Hey! It was Iceland.
Allegedly. Oh, Iceland. Allegedly.
Perks Being a Wallflower, by the way, Travis, the guy who wrote it, a rare thing. The guy who wrote the book, wrote the screenplay, and directed the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
very rare. Yeah. So he had complete control of this thing. It's very weird.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. With that notion, and it's great. I thought it was a really great movie. I saw Palm Springs. Everybody see Palm Springs?
Loved it.
Loved it.
You
Great.
loved it too?
Elizabeth Shue? No. You're thinking of Palmetto.
Palmetto.
Pretty damn good movie,
I
actually.
think
But
Palm Springs is
Palmetto.
newer.
Palm
And,
Springs
yeah,
is this year. It's made for Hulu. It's a Groundhog Day premise, and it's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
it's fucking great. I strongly recommend Palm Springs if you hadn't had a chance to watch. Andy Samberg, J.K. Simmons, and damn it, I don't know her name, but she's the
shit.
main.
She did great.
Yeah,
she's so
awesome.
funny.
She's
Damn it.
everything.
I don't know her
Yeah.
name either.
I'm sorry, I feel like a dick, but anyways,
Yeah,
check out Palm Springs. It's great. It's great. And okay, that's it. So I'll stop. Oh, last one. I'm sorry. The Fifth Estate, the Julian Assange film with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Ooh.
I love Daniel Bruhl. I like anything Daniel Bruhl does. That'll draw
Yeah.
me. And Benedict Cumberbatch
Actor.
speaks for himself. So those are great actors. But
Yeah.
I think it's a good movie in the sense that time has passed on Assange and where he's at now and everything that happened in 2016 and so on. It puts because the movie's made in 2013. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this happened with the main Chelsea Manning, Bradley Manning thing. And then that's pretty much it. So I thought it was all right. I thought it was fascinating. I did. I don't know if it's a great movie, but I was like really riveted by like the fast pace of it. So.
I mean, I thought the performances were really strong.
You know who directed that, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, that's
Bill
the
Condon?
Condon. I made a mistake. The Bob Roberts was not Condon. The Bob
Okay.
Roberts was
I was gonna
Kinsey.
say.
Kinsey and the Fifth Estate were that's the finishing of the
Yeah, I
Condon.
was gonna say I thought
Trump.
Bob wasn't Bob Roberts.
Tim Robbins.
Well, I know Tim
Yeah,
Robbins
it's,
is in it, but
It's written and directed by Tim Robbins. Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay.
That was my mistake. Sorry. Yes, Fifth Estate
forgive you.
and Kinsey was the completion of the Condon. And when you mentioned Ewan McGregor, that's what got me to watch a movie I'd never seen, A Life Less Ordinary. I'd never seen
Oh my
it,
God, what'd you think of it?
and I was like annoyed by it. I was very annoyed. I found it to be a very annoying film, and I wanted Cameron Diaz is a knockout, great. Ewan McGregor's awesome, but the premise and it looks like. I don't know. It just annoyed me, man. Like, I love Delroy
know.
Lindo. I love Holly Hunter.
I
But I'm like, this
know.
movie sucks.
Oh, I haven't. So it's one that I watched a ton when it came out, and I have not seen it since.
Okay.
So like it was one that I've wondered if it holds up. I meant to watch it for a while, but I'm gonna have to
Shit,
give it
I'm
a shot, I guess. No, it's not one I consider for the show necessarily, but I mean it's definitely one that like when it came out in like '97 or whatever, like I owned a copy and watched the shit out of it. But like I
Let me ask you this.
it might not be that great.
Because I got this weird thing with Ewan McGregor. Anytime he's not talking in his regular accent, I find him insufferably fucking boring. And I'm pretty sure he was like supposed to be like his regular, playful, fun Scottish self in that, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah. He's
Did
from.
you guys
the
ever
other-
see Shallow Grave?
Oh
No,
yeah,
but they
that-
took-
that-
they-
That's a
there's
fucking
reference-
cool movie.
Yeah, there's
I
a
saw that when
reference
it came
to
out.
in that book, I guess.
Oh, is it?
oh, really?
A Shallow
Yeah,
Grave reference in that film. So
Yeah, that introduced me to Ewan McGregor and to Christopher Eccleston back in the day. Like I remember watching this movie. You haven't seen it, right? It's
I
basically
haven't.
it's basically a play. It's a really taut story about three roommates that they take on a fourth roommate, and the new guy dies,
Yeah.
and they find a bunch of money in his stuff, and they're trying to figure out what to do with his body, what to do with his stuff, and they're like three best friends, and it's just like, how that just changes people. It's really good.
It's
put that on my
it's Danny Boyle, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Danny
sounds
Boyle.
accurate. Yeah, I think it was Danny
Yeah,
Boyle.
Danny
Wait,
Boyle.
wait,
You gotta
wait.
see this, Mike.
what?
It was
You
the
gotta
first
see this.
Danny
Yeah,
Boyle.
Danny
movie.
Boyle. Yeah, it was Danny Boyle and McGregor, right? He's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read about it after I watched this movie. Is this true, Travis? Travis gave me a copy of Shallow Grave on a mixed VHS in 1994. Sincerely,
Wow.
Daniel Plummer.
Wow, Dan.
That is
Holy shit.
that must be accurate because that explains where that copy went.
Why did you give Dan a copy of Shallow Grave on
I-
VHS?
Probably thought I was going to get it back. I don't remember honestly, but I think I loaned it to him, or I gave it to him thinking that I'd worn it out and watched enough of it and that he might enjoy it. That's probably really what happened.
That was I pay it forward.
I'm sure if I gave it to, if he says I gave it to him, I'm sure.
That's gonna be tough to ever top that comment. That's great.
hilarious.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Oh, sorry. I went a little long on my movie. Sorry. I got to stop watching so
Shit.
many movies. Here we go. Sneakers. It's time.
Oh,
We're gonna
right, an
start
hour
in.
in. Yeah, an hour in. Let's talk about sneakers.
All right, so we're going to do Does It Hold Up? It's our signature segment that we do every week. Cinema9pod at protonmail.com. Let us know, did you watch Sneakers? Do you want to follow along? Let us know, is there movies we need to watch? Also, for our own quarantine viewing suggestions, we would love to get your quarantine viewing picks. We'll watch movies you recommend to us. At least I will. I'll do it. I'm ready. And I'm sure these guys are. Yeah, that's about what I expect. Yeah, you're interested, but no guarantee. No guarantees ever.
Kill your own kind.
But we're doing it. 1992. Let's go back in time. Philip Alden Robinson, who what's the story with Fletch? Like he's uncredited on the co-writing of Fletch. Does anyone know the backstory on that real quick? Or
No,
I know he's a big ghostwriter in Hollywood. I do know.
Oh,
I know
okay.
he was fresh off of Field of Dreams, right? Into directing Field of Dreams, which is a huge success. And in normal podcasts, we'll probably talk about that movie, but we're going to talk about Sneakers instead.
Oh, fuck Field of Dreams. Yeah, I don't even want to go there. I love baseball, but fuck Field of Dreams. You know,
It does nothing for me.
Manipulative trash. All right, so Philip Alden Robinson says 1992. Maybe masterpiece. We'll find out. It's got Bob Redford, Ben Kingsley, Jesus Christ, Dan Aykroyd, Sidney Poitier.
Wow.
Poitier.
David Strathairn, River Phoenix, Mary McConnell, James Earl Jones.
By the way,
Donald Logue.
So
Timothy
Bob
Busfield.
Timothy Busfield. I love Timothy
Badass.
Busfield. He was also in
Timothy Busfield.
Slick
Yeah,
back, spy hair.
look out Bob Redford Busfield, who was also in Field of Dreams, by the way. And Bob Redford was in The Sting with Robert Earl Jones, James's father. I had never heard this. This was news. I've seen The Sting, but I didn't know that. This is supposedly true.
I didn't know his father was an actor. That's fun.
Right. Hey, I don't know if he was a big deal or a bit part, but I digress. So let's go back in time. This movie came out when we were about 12 years old, give or take. Yeah. And this is a film that did well in terms of box office success. You know, it was a rock solid film. But Travis, I mean, I don't think you saw this in the theater. That's my guess because, you know, you're younger. You don't get to always choose the movies you go to at the theater at 12. So I assume there's a VHS connection here.
Definitely a VHS connection. I don't remember if I saw it in theaters or not. I don't think so. This is one of the ones I've mentioned before that my mom's ex-boyfriend used to record movies for us, and like he would just drop off like in a like once a month. Here's 20 VHS tapes, and you know, some would be big misses, and some like this one we would just be like latch onto and just watch over and over and over again. This is one that we very much did that with. So I've watched the fuck out of this movie since it came out, and then it's been a good, I don't want to say 10 years, but probably, you know, 7, 8, 9 years since I've watched it. I was pretty due to watch it again.
He was due, folks. Eric Branstrom. I know you didn't go to the theater at 12 years old, so you definitely rented this, or maybe you caught an HBO late one night.
I didn't have HBO, Michael.
I know, that's my digging you. Every time I bring up HBO from your childhood, I know it's not real. It's a joke. So.
No, dude. The Meyer Video Store, it rented this to me nonstop, okay, in beautiful Brighton, Michigan. Every time I went there, I would rent Sneakers, Demolition Man, and Last Action Hero. I've seen Sneakers so many goddamn times, your head will spin. I guarantee you I've seen it more than both of you guys combined.
I don't know.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about
I've
that.
seen this movie.
I'm telling you, I've seen it hundreds of times.
All right. We've all seen it a lot.
I used to watch it and then just watch it again, right at viewing right after another, all the time.
I believe that. I mean, I don't know that I did that specifically, but I've definitely watched the shit out of this movie, and I'm glad that you did too. And Mike, apparently you did too.
Yeah, I did. I never treated movies though like songs. Like I'll listen to a song maybe a couple times in a row if it's like, oh, I like this song a lot. I can hardly recall watching a movie consecutively.
Just singles for me. Singles. I remember watching it 4 times in one day, and that was
wow,
that's my record. It was my first time I saw that movie, and I just watched it over and over and over again, and that's my record though.
Well, I mean, Mike, some movies you don't. I've done it with Wonder Boys many times. You just don't want the feeling to end that you're getting, especially in a movie like this. It's so fun to watch. You just want to keep the party going.
I respect it, but it's like, all right, I maybe I did it when I was younger. I don't know.
No, you did it when you were older because we used to watch Hurly Burly and Good Will Hunting and stuff on repeat.
I put it on every day. Yeah, for sure. But I don't know.
We watched about a repeat, man. We would just hit rewind on Deconstructing Harry and do it one more time when I lived with you in like 2001 or whatever it was.
We talked about last week, the human memory. There's no guarantees on that. But yeah, sure, why not? Fuck it. Sounds good to me. We definitely watched the same 4 movies in a row all day. Ravenous, Rounders, Deconstructing Harry. Yeah, absolutely. No argument from me on that at all. Okay. So I actually can't really honestly recall the first time I saw this. I just can't remember the exact moment. I really can't. And I want to say it was post high school, maybe, but maybe it wasn't. And I'm just not sure. But once I did see it, I was like, oh, I love this. I sucked it up, like everybody else did. And I just couldn't get enough of it. And it's very quotable. And I have a feeling that maybe me and Gibbons used to talk about this in senior year in TV class, maybe, but I don't know. I don't want to make up stories that aren't real. Anyways, it's a great film that I enjoyed every time I saw it and never got old to me. I looked up, unfortunately, I saw the score. Did anyone not look up the IMDb score on this?
I didn't look it up.
Oh, great. Well, let's give it a try, Travis.
You said unfortunately because now you know it. Okay.
Well, I know I can't play. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess pretty high, but not like not classic high. So I'm gonna say 7.8.
Okay. Eric Brancher.
Clearly in my heart, well,
A 10.
In my heart, this is a 10. But I'm going to say that this is one of the more underappreciated films from the early 90s. I'm going to say that IMDb probably has this thing at ridiculous 6.7.
6.7. Okay. Interesting. Here's Chad, by the way, trying to confirm that maybe we definitely did. So, Chad, I believe you. You're an honest man. Great. Thank you, Chad. All right. It turns out, gentlemen, it's a 7.1.
All right. It's about
A little harsh.
I mean, not everyone's seen it, and I don't know that's going to be everyone's cup of tea. So here's a thought I had watching the movie before. I know we're going to get into the reviews here in a minute, but like the scene where Bish, like where Martin, where Marty is like coming through the ceiling and he's got to go through Cosmo's office and like they got to turn the heat up and he's got to move really slow. It's like a taut scene, it's a tense scene. In 1992, after movies like Entrapment and Mission Impossible 1, and like where the stakes just get raised more and more with these similar kinds of things, like the idea of like he's just gotta walk really slow, like that might not hold up for some people. I can understand that, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I think it's great, but I can understand some people being a little underwhelmed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I see you. That's a good point, Travis. We got to always have that perspective. 30 years, things change. There's no doubt about it.
What do the kids think of sneakers? What does Generation Z think of sneakers? That's what I want to know.
Ooh, we'd love to hear from Generation Z. By the way, on Rotten Tomatoes, you got a 79 and an 80. That's very tight. 79 critics, 80 audience score.
Like a tiger.
Yeah. I mean, it's I thought the audience would push it up more, but I guess not everybody is us. And you're right. Different generations have different thoughts. I've been looking for Destin Thompson, and I found him. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Hang on.
Don't let me down, Des.
Okay, I'm ready.
Wow. Call Kinsey. I think we just had another.
Man, that movie is so.
Bring me Destin.
Maybe we should start our own commune where we all fuck each other. What do you think?
Is Destin involved? Or?
Is Destin coming? I mean,
I hope so. Yeah,
all right,
that'd be my plan.
It's getting dark.
Destin says, if you think of sneakers as a slick, updated Mission Impossible, I assume that references the television show.
It must.
It's a lot of fun. Only if you think of it like that, though. That's the sentence. So.
Shit.
Or
Yes.
maybe he is. Maybe he is. This was in. This review was in 2000, so maybe he was referencing the first couple Mission Impossibles. I don't know. Who's to say? But it's not much. It's one of Destin's more bland criticisms.
I don't like this guy anymore.
Oh no! I didn't know that we loved him. We just kind of like talking about him. That's what I thought. Anyways,
Kind of a
Roger
joke.
Ebert.
Running joke.
Yeah, it was a joke. Roger Ebert said, "It's a sometimes entertaining movie, but thin."
Unlike Robert.
Splat. It's a splat, by the way.
Dude.
From it's a splat from Roger Ebert. Peter Travers says, discounting his god awful American accent, Kingsley is in fine venomous form.
Did he think when he was impersonating gangsters that was his real voice?
That is.
I'm
never heard anything about
perplexed.
that.
I'm going to hunt all these men down and end their lives. Wait, can I say that? I guess I'm just kidding. Satire.
Yeah, this is all satire for the record, by the way. Let's see. We get a couple more real quick here. Can we get a? There's a lot of positives overall. Neil Minot, who's That's it's Nell. Sorry, like the movie Nell. Eric,
No.
marvelous characters in messy script. 4 out of 5 stars. So
all right. Let's
ahead.
talk about ourselves. Enough of these fuckers.
Yeah.
All right.
is it a messy movie?
I disagree. I don't think it's messy at all. I think it's very, very tight.
Are hilarious. I'm going to go up.
Yeah, how can it be messy if it's like well organized with how things kind of evolve? It's supposed to be unclear and it's supposed to be shadowy, and that's not messy though. This is a clandestine world that these people live in.
All right, there's one messy thing about this movie.
Here we go.
And that is that I was really unclear. I thought there was at least one Christmas scene in this movie. I thought the party after they get the black box was a Christmas party. Messy filmmaking. No, I'm just kidding. It's really on my fault. Not
that's a tribute to the conversation, I think.
Okay. But it's not a Christmas. There's nothing Christmassy about this movie at all. I just remember, like, it starts though in December of 1969, and very wintry. And I think between that and the party scene that I kind of had it in my head.
I've got a beef with that. Let me get the beef out on that.
I have a beef too, but I think our beef is the same. But you go ahead.
Okay. I have a beef with the fact that they're like on this computer hacking in 1969. What the fuck?
ARPANET came out in October of 1969. So these guys, it actually makes sense. I researched it. I made sure. Now the computers that they're using are bullshit. They're utter bullshit.
Yes.
Those computers should fill the room and then some.
Yeah.
Right. So that's garbage. Like clearly garbage. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? Garbage. Like these computers look like they're from 1985. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't look that old from 1992. Like, that's trash.
Yes.
But the ARPANET did exist, which would have been in college universities, and it would have been unlikely again that a student would have had access to this stuff early on. But I mean, it's more because that was my first thought too. I'm like, what the fuck? 1969? They're on the internet? This is ridiculous. But ARPANET, and if you watch, everything that they're talking about is all, I mean, the Black Panthers are not going to be on the ARPANET, but so it's semi-plausible, I guess.
Okay, it's that computer that bothered me. That's really what it is. Like, you're not on the internet. This computer's old. It's not that old. Fuck that. And this thing behind me, in the picture, this is a computer.
Yeah. That's like a supercomputer, like millions of dollars supercomputer, isn't it?
You're right. Yeah, that was as of 1992, like the fastest computer in the world. That's a real computer back there. But
I legit just thought that was a seat.
I did too until I read about it. Exactly.
By the way, we're talking about The Office, Cosmo's Office, for those that are not watching, because you can't.
Of course, yes.
It's got to be it's got to be a script conceit. I mean, you got to have a way to show the audience what these guys do and what their they're about their technical acumen for hacking in a way that makes sense to them. I mean, you could probably go ahead and show whatever the fuck they had, but you could confuse your audience. I got a feeling they had to go out on a limb and just show something that they could recognize.
And exposition-wise, I think it's important too, because you establish two things: one, that these are guys that they know computers and they take risks doing them, and two, leftist as fuck.
Yeah, and they were young too. They were college buddies. It doesn't mean they were going to be best friends forever. That's why when the movie develops, it makes sense to me. But I want to ask you guys: is Martin Bishop a dick? Is he a dick?
No. What? Why? Why would you think
overall?
And Cosmo, that always bugged me that Cosmo gets even that rattled. It's like, David Paymer kind of acts like he's mad and upset with him. What's Marty gonna do? I mean, just go in there, put his hands in the air, attack the cops or whatever. What's he gonna do?
Which, real quick, the casting of young Kingsley and young Redford is so spot on. Like both those guys, just really, really well casted. But yeah, no, I agree. But Cosmo, if you notice, Cosmo's a cheat. Cosmo changes his whole life because he cheats. When it becomes time to figure out whose turn it is to go pick up pizza, he does that whole little hand trick movement, and he cheats Marty, and Marty ends up having to leave. And Marty gets lucky that the van doesn't start, because if the van started, then he would have drawn attention to himself, and he probably would have been arrested too. It's a really beautiful way to begin this movie, because you really establish these characters and how fate has worked for them and their own choices as well.
Yeah, but what is he of a dick for all time? Not just then. Of course, he runs away. I'd run away too. But even after the fact, when he says, "You always got to win, Martin. You always have to win. You have to get the girl. You have to get everything." Is that unfair?
No, I think that's unfair. Look, there's one thing that Marty is a dick about, and it has nothing to do with Cosmo. It's the fact that he just repeatedly draws Liz into danger over and over again throughout the course of this movie. He's like, "Can I call you?" And she's like, "Just be careful." She doesn't even say yes, call me. And he's like, "Okay, well, how about I bring all of my friends to your house and we'll stay there for a few days?
Yeah,
And
we'll
how
dump garbage on the floor. It'd be great.
Right. And how about we'll put you into harm's way by sending you to Steve Tobolowsky of all people." So his, like, I think he treats her really poorly throughout the course of the movie. But other than that, I don't think that Bish is a dick. No.
Well, I got one for you then. Eric, I want to hear your thoughts on this too. But the fact that he lies to all his partners, or he keeps his secret to his own partners. They were very upset about that.
Us.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Stephen Ray meets Sidney Poitier. Come on, Eric, chime in on this. Is he a dick overall?
Are there too many secrets when it comes
selfish.
to Marty Bishop?
He's
Marty Bryce.
selfish. Yeah.
I don't know. It gives the character layers, and it makes him tragic. I mean, and I see Cosmo as being a super tragic villain too, but it makes him more interesting. I think it was a choice to just give him another layer, to have you not know your teammates. How with Kreese, no one knows that much about him. Why did he leave the NSA? It's just more interesting. It gives you something to lure above you, to dangle above you. So
I'm gonna tell you why I fired from the CIA. Yeah.
My turn.
Two first-class tickets.
Tahiti. There it is.
All right, so there's
you read me. Sorry.
We gotta talk about the cast. Yes, Sidney Poitier as Kreese is so stellar. It's prime. To me, it's like prime Sidney. I don't see how it isn't. It's still just him being him.
I've been on a kick for a while where I've watched a bunch of his movies, and this is still like one of my favorite performances of him, hands down.
I'm so glad he got involved in this project, and I think a lot of it is, from what I gather too, the fact that Redford came on board with this. Like, in fact, they wanted the character to be like in the early 40s, and there was talk about Kevin Costner being involved. Like, this would have been, oh my God, Kevin Costner played this role that Bob Redford plays, would have been a real bummer. I just don't see it being the same movie at all. And Redford led the weight that he has, which he does have. Nobody can deny that. So that's why you get this amazing cast of everybody. River Phoenix, Dan Aykroyd, even David Strathairn holds his own. I love David Strathairn. I don't think he's any less of an actor than any of those people, but he's not the name necessarily. So
it all starts with Bob Redford, who I've accused of in the past as being a boring dude, but I'm taking it all back, especially on this last viewing. I mean, this is just a easy, breezy, like blue collar guy wearing jeans. That's like fucking like Danny Ocean or Jason Bourne without all the bullshit. He's just a likable guy. In fact, you give a fuck about whether or not he could go to prison. I can't say that at all about fucking Jason Bourne or Danny Ocean. They could kill them and I wouldn't even give a shit, but I care about Marty. And it's thanks to Robert Redford just playing it easy breezy in his beautiful blue jeans.
And he has like, he's so responsive to everything, like when things get intense, like he looks concerned, but it's those little moments that he gives, like when Wallace says you could give your share to the poor, and he looks at Wallace for like a minute, pass, just that delivery. Or like one of my favorite parts of the movie is when he and Liz are like reunited in Cosmo's office when they're both captured, and it's like, how you doing? He's like, well, it's so lit. There's not a lot happening, but he does like he doesn't oversell a single thing. It's all so natural and likable,
funny
and believable. Yeah,
I agree with all that. That's Bob
Redford and Sidney Poitier. I mean, the Kreese character, the script gives him a lot to do, but Sidney Poitier does so much in this movie. He's regal as fuck. He does action and he's great in it, even in his 60s.
Yeah,
he's fucking hilarious.
When he locks Liz when he's like, Liz, you can't leave. That's awesome.
And when he gets mad at David Strathairn and Mother for fucking around with the thing, like he fucking explodes. You can see like his history as an agent and everything he knows coming out. It was quit fucking around. The whole table.
I know you guys.
I love that shit.
I know you guys. Both you guys want to play Scrabble with all four of them. I know you guys are like, I wish I could be there playing Scrabble with them.
It's cool though, because Marty Bishop is clearly like the leader, but like things would fall apart without Kreese, and you get that feeling like he's not, he may not be the official leader, but he's like the dad of the group. Like, because really, like ultimately, I don't see Bishop making a move that Kreese doesn't approve of.
Right. Could we talk about the Bozo score? Can we talk about the 90s Woodwind
I
Bozo score?
love this
So
score so
fucking
much.
good.
When Timothy Busfield says to him, Mr. Bryce, and that score kicks
So
in. Oh
awesome.
my
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
But it's still
Easily
90s
Howard-
Bozo Woodwind. How is it different than comedies of the 90s with the Bozo Woodwinds?
This is, I would say it's a predecessor to, watching this movie for this time, I've thought to myself, I wonder, I can't think of his name right now, but I wonder if the composer of Usual Suspects was drawing inspiration from this movie,
Maybe.
which is,
Yeah,
again,
maybe
from
John
the 90s.
Ottman.
But there might be some woodwinds going on here, but it is a beautiful, intense, more percussive than anything else score.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, it's very
there's
notable.
like this.
It's very notable, no doubt
These
about it.
ominous, big orchestral like waves of music, along with was it Wynton Marsalis or Branford Marsalis on the alto sax or whatever it is.
I don't know who was
Probably
playing.
be Branford.
But no, this is like top 10 for me scores for so many reasons, but mostly it sets such a tone for the movie. It lets you know right off the bat, kick back, grab the popcorn. This is going to be fun, exciting, alluring, a good mystery, a comedy, an action, so many things with
Except for
this playful
when
score.
But it's not always playful though, right? Like, because usually it is.
Yeah, exactly. The Bozo part.
But when it gets intense, like all of a sudden, just like the
Yeah.
earth shatters, and
When they knock Marty out and it fades to black and they go to SeaTac Astronomy, it just turns into like this weird growling beast underwater of a score. It's like
That's why you have
reminds
to
me of
dive-
Philip Glass.
You have to be
love it.
separating the two. I think that's an important note, Travis. You're right. The Woodwind thing, yeah. But the serious, intense, heavy score, the section that James Horner has in this movie is, I like that a lot. I do. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this makes, and it plays things up a lot more. And what are you still doing up? You know, it's awesome. I love that shit.
by the way, how satisfying is it when Bishop finally gets the pistol
Yeah,
whip
he's like,
wallet
That's
back?
more what you're talking about. That Redford, like, he's like, doesn't know what to do for a second, and then he's like, I love
Right, undersold could be like a huge kind of like indie shooting the guy,
Yeah.
this kind of moment, but instead it's just like, fuck it, I'm just getting this over with.
Absolutely. I love, yeah. This is the Cinema 9 podcast. We're talking about sneakers from
Yeah,
1992. Holden Robinson and Bob Redford, James Earl Jones is in this, and he's like just a bit part. It's amazing. This movie is jam-packed with people.
Yeah, man.
And there's so much going on. The direction's stellar. The writing's great. The acting's outstanding. The music is awesome. Is there anything about this movie that's weak? Come on, let's hear it. What's weak about this film? We covered some of the parts of the plot that are like, but like, is there anything that's weak about this film? Is it the guy who plays Greg? We haven't even talked about Donald Logue, fucking Logue in the white turtleneck. That's
Oh my
fantastic.
God. Okay. Hang on, one real quick, Gregor. You won't know who to trust. Yeah, I love that guy.
Great.
But
Up close shot. That's a great shot.
Awesome.
it's it's so like,
He's
over that guy is
slowly getting out of the car, and yeah, it zoomed. Yeah, it's a great
whole
shot.
thing.
It really is.
the whole segment is just
Mhm.
fantastic, and the way that Gregor is a character, like he adds so much depth to the characters, the other characters immediately by talking. Like, it's so happy to see you both together again, and like all this stuff. You get a real sense of the history between Liz and Marty, and also of Marty's like work, doing whatever the fuck it is that he does. But going back to wait, you're before Gregor, we were talking about. I don't know, Eric. You look prone to
Gunther.
this. Oh yeah, Donald Logue. Just
Logue.
like one of the most like bozo, like hilarious roles, not necessarily trying to be, but also he's perfect. I mean, he's just perfect.
So good.
I remember like learning that Donald Logue was like an American and being like, wait, what? Like he just seems like such a like he seems, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't even have an accent in this movie, but he just seems like such like a Scandinavian like weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the shit he has in his presentation is real. If
Yeah,
you actually look back and want to pause the film when Logue's doing his presentation, this is real stuff that is based in the RSA encryption, which is like one of the most common encryptions today. So that's cool that they had real people behind the scenes. You know, people hire consultants for films all the time who are, yeah, I was in the military, I'll show you how to kick, and hold guns. These people went out of their way to have coders, mathematicians, crypto math experts come in and like give some more legitimacy besides the stupid ass computer at the beginning of the film. Everything else is really like on point. And I guess even today, some of it's still relevant. So
Be a beacon.
Be a beacon. There's no dead air. You move from one almost insurmountable obstacle to the next, and for me, there's nothing tired. I love every single scene of this movie. I'll say it right now, and again, I'll say it again because you care about the characters. They're not superheroes. They're not soldiers. They're not action heroes. They're just salt of the earth people. There's they're messy, like they're folksy. They're not like these buttoned up, clean, sleek suited people, mannequins. They're people, and they're just doing their fucking job, and they're scared.
Would Werner Brandis really have that clean of garbage though? I mean, I know he's a neat guy, but no one's garbage is that clean.
Yeah, he might see that pizza box. It's folded like 20 times.
No, you could do that. There's gonna be like a sauce that just gets in there. It's what the garbage is. You throw shit in there, and there's no recycling back then either. So don't give me any bullshit here. Come on.
We got to talk about River Phoenix because another thing I love about the movie with Carl is the team doesn't have to be like, oh, send the kid or like, what, you don't know shit, kid. Like, you're MTV. There's none of that. They respect him. They treat him like a member of the team. He does his job. And
when he gets the $50 for the blueprints, he's like, pretty good, Carl. Pretty good.
Got from mother's wallet. And Daniel Aykroyd, Dan to his friend.
Who is this?
Dan Aykroyd, you've heard of him?
How many Canadian? He wears River Phoenix's band's T-shirt, and then he wears a Tragically Hip T-shirt in this film.
Yep,
as well,
he does.
That's funny.
Plus, he plays himself because I think Dan Aykroyd literally believes that like Jimmy Carter is an alien from space or something.
Yeah, that's weird that you say that because that's like this shit took off, right?
Yeah.
Did it not?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a huge conspiracy theorist. Have you ever seen his interviews with like Larry King and Joe Rogan and stuff? He fucking believes that the Earth is made out of like green jello.
Yeah, I know. He's the Rogan thing is like the most blatantly awful thing where it's like, is this really for real? Is he selling liquor and like just trying to be an asshole about things? I have no idea, but yes, I would buy it. I would buy it completely.
But I love Dan Aykroyd so much, and I love him as Mother. When he's dancing with Liz, you can tell he's a fucking great dancer because he's a blues brother. He brings so much just sweetness and humanity to Mother. It's hilarious and fun.
Yeah, but what about River Phoenix though? You didn't finish your point on that.
Oh, I love him in it. He took, did you read that he took the role to like, because he just got off My Own Private Idaho, which was just, it absorbed his soul, the research he did and the work he put into that. He just wanted like a paycheck movie. But then he does this, and it's one of my favorite roles of his because he's just this sweet kid who just wants love, and he does his job good, and the team respects him. Love it.
Yeah, he was really good at ensemble pieces. Like he did this. He did I Love You to Death with Tracy Ullman and Kevin Kline and Stand By Me. Right. Yeah. He definitely had an affinity for doing these kinds of pieces.
He could do anything. Watch The Mosquito Coast. It's fucking insanely good.
But I don't watch this movie and see him in it and get sad. I enjoy it.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm like, you know what? This is great. River Phoenix playing along, doing his thing. He looks relaxed. He doesn't look like he's a mess. I don't know. Not that you would know that anyways. That's a ridiculous statement. But the fact that he plays his role quite well, and the fact that he's represented as an equal. Everyone's equal in this. Even if certain times it's like a marriage or a relationship where like sometimes you're pulling your weight more than others. People are, like you said, Kreese. It would fall apart without Kreese. I agree. But this would also fall apart without Whistler. Whistler's part is fantastic because he's got this skill. He's like a mutant almost. It's awesome. I love that about it.
Don't look.
I'm a little. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is not the greatest representation of a blind person, probably because they do kind of present him as a mutant, and like that's not great. But that scene where they figure out how to get to C-Tech astronomy by listening, to the whatever it was that Bishop had when he was driving. That to me is one of the most classic scenes in this movie.
What did it sound like?
And it really does a great job of demonstrating like their specific expertise and the way that they work together as a crew.
I buy it. I totally buy it. In this latest viewing, again, I'm like, you know what? I was the one I was going to question the most going into this viewing. I'm like, okay, I want to wait till we get to that part. I'm going to really critically break down this fucking segment.
He had like access to like highway sounds at the touch of a button. What was going on there? I mean,
well, look, there's one thing that I don't know if it's true. Who the fuck knows with all these thoughts and comments from IMDb? But supposedly Whistler was based on this guy.
Yeah,
People
I saw
knew,
that.
and he was a very famous
Freak,
blind
they
guy
called
who
him,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, they did. He was one of the. I didn't even know. This is a whole thing. It's called phone freaking too,
Mhm,
because
yeah.
that's why they call him the freak. This was something that with digital telephones changed everything, but that was the sound and be able to hear things. I don't know if he was this elite. Maybe it was probably exaggerated, but there was probably some truth to this. And I've never been blind, so what the fuck do I know?
I agree. Like when he's dancing, it's like, come on, I'm sure he can fucking dance. You don't have to make him be like,
I think he was joking. I think he was deliberately
he's
like,
doing like a bad Ray Charles impression. What the fuck was going on there?
yeah, you're
Why
right.
does he have to dance with everybody too? I hate that. I actually don't like that scene.
I like
Everybody
that
get the
scene.
turn to dance with Liz.
I like that scene because I like River Phoenix's dance during that scene, so I'm okay with
That's
that.
cool.
I love it so much because it shows them having fun right before it gets like downright scary, the situation they're in, and it
Yeah.
gives it a more pronouncement.
I've got a question for you guys. So, do you think that Mother's buddy from the other side of the Gulf War had an actual specific thing to tell you how to get into past a digital lock, and then Marty listened to that and then just kicked the door down anyways? Or do you think it took him forever to tell him how to kick the door down? He said, wait a minute. Okay.
There you go, dude.
Which one is it?
There you go.
Yeah,
You
no,
just
I
dumbest
thought
part
about
of the
that.
movie now. I
many-
forgot about it.
Yeah, I've spent many long nights pondering that very question to myself when I had better
Who
things to
hasn't?
do. I think he was probably trying to explain to him what type of door it probably is and where he should kick exactly, and explaining what mechanism would snap if he hit it in a certain point. So that's what I
bullshit.
got.
It's
All right.
trash. Fucking trash. That is trash. This
It's a
movie's great,
funny
but that's
scene,
trash.
but yeah, it doesn't really make sense. But it's a funny scene.
I laughed out loud.
It's
Kick
a
the
funny-
door down. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
wait,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Kick the
It's
door
funny.
down. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's not funny.
That's not what happened.
By the way, Whistler arguably might be my favorite character.
Oh.
Start looking at who's your favorite. We said who's indispensable. I completely agree. Priest, indispensable. And a lot of these guys are indispensable, but favorite, the one I like, he's an honest, earnest, good dude. It's not just because he's blind. I feel bad for him or some shit. I
What
like
that's
the thing.
for.
I know. I mean, that'd
That's
be
a
terrible.
Mike.
It was. I love David Strathairn. That's always going to be an issue for me. I'll admit it freely. And
2 Strathairn movies in a row for me, by the way. In terms of what I've
hey!
chosen.
Yeah, which we included in the Home for the Holidays, where he's not a lovable
Yeah,
loser. He's
yeah,
just a loser.
Make fun of a guy whose family died.
You got to see this. It's funny. I actually watched it
Meridian?
again. I laughed more at that scene. It's funny. Yeah, Meridian. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Whistler. I think Whistler's my guy.
I leave message here on service, but you do not call.
What the fuck?
Over and over and over again. I don't know who my favorite. I
Oh,
don't know
give
who
him
my favorite-
head. Give him head is great.
Yeah, big
Hilarious.
Yeah,
And
that
give
whole,
him
that whole sequence. My favorite, honestly, Bishop is probably my favorite if I have to get down to it. Yeah,
Wow.
I love them all, but I
Yeah, I love him all.
I do.
I
Marty
can't
Bishop.
separate them. In my heart, they are just one team. It's the best team movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It's all one team. There's
I wonder if Eric thinks this holds up. I don't know.
Uh-huh. I think we got to give a couple more minutes to Ben Kingsley, though. We didn't talk about him enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And
fucking good.
He's a great villain. This is not a great villain just because he's good and it's Ben Kingsley, in my opinion. It's because of his motives, his desire.
Demeanor.
Let's have a good heart. Yeah, the whole story, the background. You feel bad for him. There is empathy in
You
my
do.
And his plan is a good plan. He wants to get rid of debt, and he wants to get rid of he
We talk about prescience.
right. It's all extremely leftist kind of stuff. He's now as Marty points out, hey, you're working with terrible people that hurt people. He's like, oh, that's just my day job. And he's like, well, okay, that doesn't absolve you of anything. But Cosmo's plan is still to improve people's lives on the main, and I love even though it makes no sense at the end of the movie, why don't you just follow him down the ladder once you open it up and see that the thing that's but the fact that the climax of the movie, it's not a giant explosion and Robert Redford throwing himself off a building, it's literally the Kingsley making of Cosmo, because I think of him as Cosmo making the choice not to shoot his friend and looking at the gun in amazement as he allows him to walk away. It's a powerful moment. I think so. I think it really is.
Great. You can tell that he wants Marty's friendship and probably even needs it. You know how isolated he is. At
He even orders him at gunpoint. He orders him to come back
He
and be my
literally
friend.
does.
Please.
And you know, it took me till, having to watch it when I was like 40 to really sit there, and I paused it and I sat there and I thought, what were those years in prison like for Cosmo? And like, how much did it change him? And like, how much did it turn him into this docile, like tragic man that I see standing there begging someone to be his friend by gunpoint? I mean, they say that he was taken in by they say that he was taken in by the mafia, and I think that always kind of went over my head when I was a kid. And it's not really meant. I mean, his tactics mafioso like, or how much do you think that is an appendage of him?
I don't think it is. I just think he ends up working for these people so he can like get some legitimacy to meet other heavies and shit, and then he gets a reputation based off of them.
I think that if I went into an office and was going to bug that office, and there was a little room that was like we don't bug people in this room, I would go bug that room. Just for the record, his like soundproof room makes zero sense to me. I'm like, what? Or like whatever it is. I'm like, he's like, you know, he like points to like apparently the mafia is listening, and he's like, and then they go to like the. Also, is Sharper Image his decorator? I don't really understand, but
RoboCop directed that.
1992, man, it's fucking great, Marty.
peak 92. I'm like the triangle desk.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean everything that the fucking. Fish, so 90s. It's beautiful.
And by the way, Wallace is a great bad guy. He's a great thug. His face is born for thuggery. He's such a thug, and I don't like him, but I admire his acting ability and his ability to just have a face that bothers you. It's perfect.
Are you scared of Timothy Busfield?
No, that's a joke.
That's just. I mean, like he's actually kind of good casting because of in the early part, because like.
Yeah,
never mind the fact that Marty doesn't seem to know who the NSA is and what they do. That part's never mind that. Their story is actually pretty convincing. Like, and Busfield comes across like a true affable company man, like a government guy, right? Like, the story that they get Bishop on in the beginning seems like about the black box is pretty convincing.
Yes. Yeah, that's why Busfield, he's the face initially. But after when he puts him in a headlock, and I'm not buying that part because he was in 30-something. That ends it. But,
wait, we didn't mention River Phoenix in blackface, guys. That's an awkward moment right early in the movie.
Oh, God.
It's not true blackface, but there's definitely like an exchange between Kreese and him that's like of looks that's awkward. But
by the way, I like the fact that because some people might try to say like, oh, why did they just throw that midnight comment, which is totally inappropriate, just to piss him off? But it shows that like hints of racism exist in 1992, which is good. I just think
good thing they don't anymore.
Right. Yeah, because it's all over now. You're right. Yeah, thank God. But
thing is right.
That was great. I just thought it was subtle. It wasn't like trying to make like a speech or anything. It's just like part of life. It would happen.
I mean, I got like a they call me Mr. Tibbs kind of moment. I think they might have done it just to get like piss Sydney look at a dumb white guy.
But I don't care because who the fuck doesn't love Call Me Mr. Tibbs? That's fucking fantastic. I'll watch that on repeat on YouTube forever.
The only thing I didn't like about that scene is that like nowadays the guy that calls him Midnight would get much more of a comeuppance. It'd be more than a punch in the face.
Yes, although, okay. So what about Whistler driving? Is that the most absurd thing in this movie?
Oh, it's so funny.
It's fun, right?
It's hilarious. I want to go about 5 seconds and then stop. I'm just gonna stop here.
Yeah, it's perfect. And like he's got a good view to kind of direct him in. It's not too far. I thought it was doable.
And it's also not necessary. Like really, he provides like a good distraction so that Kreese can attack the guys.
Right.
But like ultimately, like we don't see it, but we know that Mother and Kreese are just booking it behind him, trying to catch up because they show up like right alongside of him. Basically.
Exactly. Yeah. 10 seconds later, all right, let's get the hell out of here. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't that far away.
Did you guys read the part about where Phil Alden Robinson turned in the script to Touchstone? I think it was, and they were like, "Well, this is like a G-rated movie." Like before they punched it up with violence and dialogue. It was literally like a kid's movie.
Shut. Yeah, you got to throw some shits in there. Absolutely.
Is that the RoboCop arcade game?
That was the. I'm so glad that was real. That was one of my highlights of this entire podcast. By the way.
I saw that.
Okay. God, this is already
Cut
hour and
the
a half.
shit.
But so what? This is a great movie. I think it's generally conceived to be
Awesome.
true by all of us. But I want to talk about the final part before we make our conclusions. You know, when they do the gifts, they get the brass ring. Everybody
Wizard
gets
of
a
Oz
chance.
moment.
Yes. Any beefs with this? Any
Love it.
beef with any particular? I mean, I found the woman phone number thing to be really cheesy. It could be like so heartfelt that a 19-year-old would be so clueless because he doesn't understand life to want to do that. And it's very sweet, but it's a little absurd for me. Whistler's peace on earth and goodwill towards men. That's dumb.
I
But-
don't like that part.
I like that.
That's cheesy.
I like that the woman trains her Uzi on him as she gives him her number, because obviously she's a well-trained marksman, markswoman, as Mary McConnell would say.
She should be.
Yeah. Liz actually has my favorite moment in that whole sequence, because it gets to be her turn, and she's like, "I'm good,
Yeah.
I'm fine, I'm good. Like, I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive still, even though Marty's really tried to get me killed throughout this whole movie." I think she's got my favorite moment.
It's fun.
Fan of Mary
I
McDonald.
love
I've
it.
been harsh to Mary McDonald in this show, and we maybe haven't given enough credit, but I just don't like her as an actress personally, so that's my fault. I
She looks
apologize.
great with short hair in this movie. I'll give her that. She really wears that short hair well.
She's tolerable only in this movie. But
And
overall,
Donnie
I love that last
Donnie
scene.
Darko.
It's it's yet another reminder that it's the end of a spy thriller, and yet it's not about like the stakes or an explosion or just like what you were saying, Travis. It's about the characters and a chance to just reconnect one last time with each character individually, just like the Wizard of Oz passing out gifts to the characters in that movie. It's just fun and sweet, and remind you, grab the popcorn, don't tip it over, but just enjoy yourself.
Okay,
Go
I
ahead,
can
Mike.
see that.
Oh, well, I was going to say, hi, my name is Werner Brandis. My voice is my passport. Verify me. Because we haven't
Gotta
talked
say it.
Tobolowsky,
You
and
gotta
we haven't said that most important quote from the whole movie. Tobolowsky in this movie is just so fun to me. I mean, he's barely in the movie, but he's so memorable. Like he's yet to like really like this is to me. This is the first movie I've ever seen him in being like, in like subsequent movies I'd be like, hey, it's that guy. It's that guy. It's that bald guy with the glasses again.
Yeah.
And he's
Ned Ryerson.
Yeah, Ned Ryerson. He's so much
Same
fun.
here.
Just wanted to throw a quick shout out to Stevie Tubbs.
I always thought it was a little weird. Like I would have thought verify would have been the harder word to get him to say.
Oh yeah,
Fucking
it's always
bullshit.
been exactly in my since I was 12. I'm like, wouldn't verify be harder than passport?
12-year-old
I gotta
boy.
beat. I gotta beat with the passport. Should have been a dead giveaway to him. He's not a moron. He's very
Yeah.
intelligent, and he
Yeah, I
said
thought that.
passport. That's actually the weakest link in this whole final like showdown plan, because he says passport to get into his work. So it would have stood out in my opinion, because he's got a 180 IQ according to his license plate. So.
Yeah, well, IQ tests are bullshit. One and
I
two.
still love the movie. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's bullshit.
I don't think that you don't love the movie anymore. But
Hey!
also, like,
Verify me.
do you think that Werner Brandis gets a lot of dates? Is he
dude.
is he thinking real hard about his job at that moment? I don't think so.
He's
thinking
thinking
about
about his
his
mac
board.
and cheese boxes.
He's Computer the Hut. Yeah, that's who he is. That's what I mean. This guy is only going to get
computer
dates.
set up you and her. No.
Yeah, that's.
Now
I
I
do
know.
like that. I do like it.
Everything-
Kingsley's like, what the fuck is that? No way, this
Yeah.
would never
Plan.
fly. He's a fucking
How
scumbag. So.
How that indicates to him, like Marty.
Marty!
This asshole with her, Marty.
Okay, guys, I think
Yeah, we're getting
No,
there.
this is Sneakers. It's a wonderful film,
Clear.
and I don't know if we'll get any objection. Who wants to go first this week? Eric, you want to go first?
I love this movie. You've got
Yeah.
a colorful cast, a great direction by this guy who, only gave us what? Field of Dreams, Sum of All Fears, this, and some episodes of like television. I love the direction of this movie. I love the tone. I love all the characters. The script is fucking fantastic, and it's fun to watch. I mean, I can't say that a lot about a lot of movies. A lot of movies that I love, I like because I admire them and how they made them, and they make me think. This is just so much fun to watch over and over again. It's before Mission Impossible, before Jason Bourne, before Oceans. They were doing this in 1992, and they did it perfectly, in my opinion. Hasn't been duplicated. Men on a Mission Team, it's my favorite one of all time.
Yeah, I completely agree. This movie's great. It's a lot of fun. It's awesome. It's always been fun. It doesn't get old. It's still just it's going to be timeless, I think, because hacking and like spy espionage undercover fantasy stuff like that, where shit's going down and people got to figure it out. And the characters make themselves so likable that you want to just never leave them. So maybe you would watch this back to back on repeat. I guess it is possible. I could see that for the first time, maybe. But it's a fun movie. It's smart. It's well casted. Everything
Smarty.
about it. There's a Marty. There's a couple of holes in the plot, but who gives a fuck? I mean, in 2020, I sat down, I turned this movie on, and I watch it a couple times a year, anyways. And I was like, you know what? I'm still having a good time. I'll have a good time when I'm 60 watching this film.
So neither one of you guys said the magic words.
It definitely holds up. There's no doubt about it.
He has to hear him. It absolutely holds up.
It's how the show works, man. Welcome to the podcast. All right,
it's good to have a stickler. Thank you, stickler.
Well, then you guys might be a little surprised.
It's in trash.
You did. Yeah, right. Nice try.
The fact that, like, in 1992, that Cosmo was talking about the coming information war is so cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really awesome.
Who controls the information controls the world.
Yeah, exactly. I really, really like that. And this movie ends with the most leftist shit ever. It ends with like all of the Republican National Committee's money being sunk into charity. That's how they choose to end this movie. Just like, by the way, Democrats as fuck. Like
Yep.
bold. That's bold. And I love it in part for that. And I love it for all the reasons that we're discussing. Like this movie for me absolutely holds up, as I knew that it would. There was a couple moments where, it kind of dips from like, it's kind of starts to, there are a couple moments that don't hold up as well to me as they maybe once did. But overall, this movie is a must see. If you've never seen it, you're probably not listening to this right now. But if you've never seen it, you should. It's a delightful, fun romp that is just a lot of really great actors in their prime having a clearly good time making this movie, and it's well worth watching.
Well said, Travis Roy. He closes it out well, and everything about it's a lot of fun. So settle in, enjoy yourself. Never forget that Sneakers brings you joy, especially during the holiday season. Even if it's not a holiday season film, who cares? It holds up. Another one in the books. Episode 37 passes with flying colors. Travis, you've done it. Do you feel good that your choice passed with flying colors?
There was a dim part of me that wondered, will this hold up? But I kind of, this is definitely one where I suspected that it probably would. But since we've talked about it so much on the show about doing it, it was nice to finally get it under the old belt.
Was it a dim sum part of you?
Whoa.
No.
I don't get
what
it.
the fuck are you talking about? Doesn't make any sense.
I apologize.
The final broadcast.
So this is Cinema Nine Podcast. You're listening to our excellent, outstanding podcast. And those of you that watch us on the live stream, we always welcome having you on our podcast. It's a lovely pleasure to get your comments.
We are great. We are awesome, and we enjoy you. Love us, and we love you.
Yeah, I love these people. I mean, the fact that Dan Plummer had a mixed copy of Shallow Grave.
Shallow Grave.
This is never gonna forget that.
Mixed copy.
It was a mixed,
like a blank tape, blank Kodak tape.
Yeah, I remember. It was a blank. It was a VHS tape I had drawn in whiteout. Shallow Grave.
There you go. There used to be VHS mixtapes.
Yeah. Give that back. Give your address to Dan after the show. Get that back.
Yes, we'd love to see that in real life. All right, so check us out, cinema9pod@protonmail.com. Let us know, is Sneakers a great film? Are we, all of us are too in love with this film? Are we idiots? Please follow the show. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. That'd be a lovely Hanukkah gift, Christmas present, anything you celebrate. Give us 5 stars. It just feels good this time of year to feel good. Having said that,
other times of year, it doesn't feel so good to feel.
No, it never feels good in March.
June.
Travis, you picked Sneakers. Now, Eric Bransham is going to give us the Christmas Eve edition. I assume you're going to bum us out with some holiday bullshit, but let's see what you say.
It is the holiday season, and I want to wish everyone currently happy Hanukkah, happy Diwali for my Indian friends. And next week will be Christmas holiday. So I'm going for a Christmas movie, okay? It's one that I've been, it's been on my mind for a long time. I nearly rented it a few weeks ago, but I said, you know what? This could be something to check out for the show. It's been many, many years since I've seen it. I'm worried you guys watch it like so much that it's not even funny. But Mike, you watch like all of our shows like the week before, and you're like,
it's
oh,
the
let's
ref.
watch it here. Let's watch it again.
If it's the ref, I watch it every year. But go ahead.
It's not the ref. We're going back to 1988. Take a look at Scrooge.
Really? Oh!
We're going to take a look at Scrooged. All right. I haven't seen this one forever. I never have really cared for this movie personally.
Oh my God,
I'm saying that right now. I've never really cared for it.
I will say right now, this is my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping you guys are on board because I haven't seen it in a long time. And I remember not being blown away, but we've got a script from Michael O'Donoghue from the Lampoon and Mitch Glazer. And this was a big deal. And I've got a lot to say about Bill Murray. I think he's, I think we need to return and look at this guy in the 80s because he's getting it's the sanctimoniousness around him is starting to bother me a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
it's starting to bother me a little bit.
Is out of control. So I can respect it.
But yeah, I'm excited. It's Scrooge. It's 1988.
Oh my God, dude. You have no idea what you've done. I mean,
what?
It's just
this movie. Steve Paulo says the ref is greater than Scrooge, and I really love the ref. I really think the ref is a seriously underrated Christmas movie. But Scrooge to me is numero uno, baby. Never even crossed my mind to ask if it holds up. So I'm excited to watch it. And talk about it.
Is there anything to talk about here?
I watch it every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go down to the A&P and you buy one. You're big girls, very big girls. I'm sorry. All right. Just the most random. Scrape them off.
Yeah, this is.
I
don't.
This is a shit show.
Agree with Travis. I can't even. I'm not going to make up any extra words. This is the number. It's not Christmas Vacation. It's this movie.
I wasn't going to do it.
We watched Christmas Vacation when I was younger, but we watched Scrooge and Christmas Vacation as a double feature every Christmas from like 1990 on throughout most of the 90s. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be great. I love it.
It's time to take another look.
All right, I'm excited.
It's incredibly heartfelt movie too. It's so good.
Yeah, I
okay. I'll leave it at that because it's a retelling. We all know that. All right, there it is. We're doing it. Scrooge. I love it. I'm thrilled. Of all the movies you could have picked, I'm hyped. I'm jazzed.
I would have been happy with the ref too, but yeah.
I was thinking about Gremlins, but then I knew Luke wanted to do that when he comes back.
Oh, Gremlins would have been a disappointment for me. Thank God. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the ref. I thought maybe you're gonna go Die Hard because this Christmas movie.
I'm so tired of hearing
that. You said 1988. I freaked out for a second.
No, I would never do Die Hard.
Good.
I do Die Hard with Vengeance, but not Die Hard.
Ooh, Die Hard with Vengeance has some problems, but interesting.
Been on my list for a long time.
So good
for the show. I mean, it's Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. If there's any Die Hard, it's the third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh hell, we'll leave you all. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast. Bye.
Thank you for sticking to the bitter end.
Long one today.
Bye bye.
That's it. Do we got any quotes to end on? Maybe I don't know.
Go on, mother.
What took you so long, Carl?